Hi everyone, welcome back to the Tiny Studio. My name is Nail and this is Simply Nail's Tiny Studio. If you are new here, thank you for tuning in. Here in the Tiny Studio, I am a fiber and textile artist. I am a jewelry designer, and I'm also a huge fan of vintage coach. So whenever you tune in here in the Tiny Studio, I'm probably going to be talking about any one of those three things. Also, I am a dreadlock diva, locknista, so I will have videos on this channel featuring maintenance and care for beautiful, luscious locks. But this is not a video about my hair today. This is a video about vintage coach. I've just purchased a very beautiful convertible clutch coach bag. It's vintage. It was probably created or crafted in the year 1978 or 1979. So yes, it's a pretty mature bag. Let me share that with you. If you're not already following me on here in the studio, what you can do is you can subscribe and then go back and look at those videos that I created. That's my family out there talking. I tell them that I'm recording or filming, but I guess they forget or they really don't care. I don't know. But let's continue on with our conversation. All right, so, and what was I saying anyway? See, I forgot. But anyhow, oh, I have other videos here on YouTube where I talk about how to authenticate a vintage Coach handbag. So, and I also talk about how to find a pre-loved vintage Coach at the thrift store, how to know you're not getting a fake or a dupe. And then I have an upcoming video where I talk about how to successfully purchase a vintage Coach bag online. So stay tuned for that. Anyhow, I want to share with you my thinking process of when and how I purchase my vintage Coach bags, what goes into it, what am I looking for, and I want to show you what this bag looks like now as opposed to what it will look like when I share that with you in another week or so. So this is she. This is a vintage convertible Coach bag, Coach clutch, convertible clutch, and it's in pretty rough condition. See, this time I've showed you pieces in my collection before, and I've showed them to you after I have restored them. But this time you will get to see how they look before I restore them. So this bag is in pretty decent condition. I took the strap off. The strap is in good condition. And so you may say, well, why would you say it's in pretty good condition now when it just looks really beat up? And if you thought that, you would be correct. It does look really beat up, doesn't it? And that's fine with me because I know that if I employ certain methods, I can restore this bag. And that's what I'm looking for. When I look for bags on a pre-loved market, I'm looking at something that has good bones. Now, of course, this Coach bag does not have any bones. What are you talking about, Neil? Purses are inanimate objects. They don't have bones. But I don't mean bones such as bones that appear on a skeletal frame. I'm talking about the really, I was going to say the nuts and bolts. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is that I look at the bag. I look at the craftsmanship and how it was put together, the foundation, and how the bag looks to me lets me know whether it is worth me restoring with the knowledge that I do have, or if I should pass up on it. Now, for me, she was worth purchasing and adopting into my family because I know that all of these scratches that you see here on the bag, the front of the bag, I know that a vintage Coach bag, I know that the leather is going to get scratches. I know that the veins are going to show. I know that. Here's some more scratches. I know that I can fix that. I know that this is redeemable and this is within my tool of knowledge to restore. I know I can do that. Another reason when I looked at this bag, I went ahead and said I can do this is because when I looked at the leather was still in excellent condition. The D-rings are in excellent condition. There's no rips. There's no tears. The seams are not broken. The corners are still in really good condition. They're just dry, and all I need to do is put some healing balm here after I clean and condition it, and it will be basically back to maybe not 100% back to its former glory, but it will look really, really good and really close to the way it probably looked back in 1978 or 79. The convertible clutch does not have a back slip pocket. It just has a seam going across the bag. So I'm looking at the seam. I don't see any rips, any tears, no holes. The stitching is still pretty good. I notice that there is a mark there, but I really don't care. So all I'm going to do is when I clean this, I'm going to see what I can do with this mark, and if I can possibly get something to sand it down with, I'm going to do that. When I saw the bag and the seller had maybe about 10 or 15 pictures up, I thought it was pretty bad. And I said, this is really going to test out my skills. So let me pull the trigger on it. However, I think the seller, I purchased her from eBay, and the seller had a situation where you can make an offer. And so when I looked at the bag and I saw all the things on the outside of it, the exterior, and I was thinking to myself, okay, this is going to test my knowledge. This may challenge me a little bit. I think the seller had the bag up for $40, 45 bucks, with $5 and some change shipping. And so I was like, well, this bag looks rough, really rough. Let me see if because I don't know if I'm going to have to paint it. I don't know if I'm going to have to get some more education as to how to restore the corners, because basically from the pictures I thought that this would be my project bag, basically. So I decided to put in an offer, and I offered $25 because I didn't know what all I was going to have to do to this bag. But I put in the offer and the seller accepted the offer. So all in, I ended up spending $31 and some change, which was fine with me. That's a deal. Now, I did not, at the time, I didn't know. I knew she was pre-Creed, which is anything that's before 1994. I knew that that was the case. I could tell by the straps that it was an old bag, but I had no idea what her age truly was until I received the bag. Now, when the bag arrived and I did an inspection of her, I looked and I discovered that this wasn't the struggle bag or the project bag that I had predicted it to be. In fact, I feel this bag has turned or will be one of my best success stories. And why is that? Well, it's because I already know that this bag is made of glove tan leather. I know from the way she feels, the way she looks, the way she's structured, that all I'm going to have to do for her is give her a really good scrubbing, a really good cleaning. I'm going to condition her for a few days. Then I'm going to put healing balm on her for the remainder of her drying time. I'm going to scrub her outside, her inside really, really well. I'm going to make sure that I get all in the nooks and crannies, and then I'm going to reshape her. I know that with all of that work, she's going to look like an entirely different bag in another week and a half. I know this. I know that she was probably made in 1978 or 1979 in New York City. I know that. I know this is a 42 or 43-year-old bag. I know that. I also know that on the pre-loved market, a vintage Coach convertible clutch, I can resell this. I can restore this and sell her for more than $25. As a matter of fact, a whole lot more than $25. However, being that she is my first convertible clutch to be in my collection, I will not be selling her. I will be keeping her for myself. And she's in British tan, which is a very, which is one of those colors that Coach put out that everybody loves. Everybody loves a good British tan Coach bag. And so that's what she is, in British tan, and she's in excellent condition. Now you may say, "No, she is not in excellent condition." And I have to say, yes, she is. Because there are no rips, there are no tears, there are no stains, there isn't any overwhelming smells. Everything works. She is in excellent condition. Now, yes, the exterior looks a little beat up, and that's fine, but I will work on that, and I'm going to reshape her. This is going to be a really great bag. This is going into my collection, and I like to say this is an investment. And I hate to bring this up a little bit, but when you are purchasing vintage bags, you should also look at it as an investment. And I say that because, especially nowadays with vintage Coach, it is an investment. There are so many Coach bags out here on the market that have been around for 40, I will say 25, 30, 40, 50 years that are being priced right now on a pre-loved market starting from maybe $200 on up to $1,000. Seriously, a 40-year-old bag, $1,000. That's, I don't want to say that's rent these days, because where I live at, rent is almost $2,000. So $1,000, that's half your rent. If you're not driving a Cadillac or a Mercedes, that could be a car note and some insurance. That's groceries and the light bill and maybe your cell phone bill. That's a lot of clams. So when you're looking for a vintage coach, that's why, in my opinion, learn all you can on how to restore it. Keep your budget limited. Keep your eyes peeled for deals. And then when you see a really good a bag or a bag that you want on the online pre-love market, make sure there are enough pictures where you can be able to ascertain whether or not it's worth purchasing, because it's really an investment. That's the way I look at it. And I also see vintage coach as a multi-generational type of thing, because I am going to be passing down my collection to my daughters. And they are in excellent condition. My bags are excellent condition right now. So if I pass them down to my daughter and they take care of them, because I have educated them about that, if they take care of them, they get to pass it down to their children, their daughters, or whatnot. And that is the quality of a good Coach bag. That's why vintage Coach is really a hot commodity on the pre-love market today, because it's just a very, very well crafted handbag. So you see her now. She will not look like this when you see her again in 2 weeks. She's going to look like a whole entire looking bag. She's going to look like an all entirely different bag, but she will still be the vintage Coach convertible clutch bag in British tan. And I'm so excited to add her to my collection. And thank you so much for checking out my video. I hope that you check out my other videos where I talk about how to authenticate how to authenticate Coach at the thrift store or at the Goodwill or Salvation Army. I also talk about in another video, I talk about how to, that's coming up, I talk about how to authenticate a vintage Coach bag online. So that's me presenting my knowledge to you, and I have been very successful so far with purchasing vintage Coach online, and I want you to be successful as well. Yes, there are still a few other items on my unicorn list that I'm looking out for that I have yet to find, but I'm always very, very hopeful. Now, this convertible clutch was not on my unicorn list, but being that I have been watching the vintage Coach market, as soon as I saw this come up on eBay, I knew that I wanted to have this in my collection. And like I said, no, I'm not trying to flip her and sell her, but you just never know what life will throw at you, right? You never know. But anyhow, I knew that this would be a good investment for my collection, and it will look really good on my arm. I think so. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in the tiny studio. This was a really brief video, so I hope that you had the opportunity to check it out all the way through, because you don't want to miss all the good information and the nuggets I be dropping, the nuggets of knowledge. You don't want to miss out on that, right? Make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Press that like button, because when you press like or dislike, you let me know what videos you would like to watch and you would like to see. And if you have anything If you have anything additional to say to me, comments, questions, suggestions, what have you, drop down in the comments section and, let's talk about it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in the tiny studio. I'm Nell. Have a great, great day.